Right. So let me share my screen. So now we all know, like, how to, what are all the data types that is available, the primitive data types, yes, objects. We have seen some collections, and we did some data manipulation, creating the class and then creating the object, like for example, the account object that we created. So any questions so far related to that, and where it is able to make a progress? Like we did learn about creating an object with a new operator, and also like account, or like for example the object dot field name equal to, we can provide the values, and finally we were able to insert. So basically we were able to do all the data manipulations, or like we able to create the object in couple of ways. Okay, all right. So any questions so far? We're able to do some hands-on before we start this session. You can type in the window or the chat window in case if you have any questions. Okay, all right. Was everything clear so far? Okay, now we know like how to declare the variable, initialize the variable, how to create a class. Okay, how to create a class, and how to create a method, how to pass an argument, and how to trigger it from the anonymous window to test the class, to trigger the class. Now we know how to create an object, and also with the class dot method name, we know if we declare the static, we don't have to instantiate. If it is without static, we know how to create an object. We also used the same concept to create a couple of objects out of box, or like standard objects like accounts or contacts, anything. And then we created with the passing the arguments, and also we created with object name dot field name, and finally we did insert. Okay, right. The next concept that we'll be talking about is the DML. Okay, what is DML? What is DML? Okay, so what is called DML? DML is nothing but data manipulation language. Okay, data manipulation language. All right. And we do have, when we're saying like data manipulation language, how are we are going to manipulate the data? How are we going to manipulate the data? Like we can insert the data, or we can insert the object, or we can update the existing object, or we can delete the object, or we can undelete the object, and we can also merge the objects, merge two objects. Okay, so there are like certain DML statements available in Salesforce. What are the DML statements? Insert, we'll be going through all of this. Update, upsert, delete, undelete, and merge. Okay, let's talk about insert now. So if you see, each DML statements accepts either a single S object or an array of object. Okay, like when we are saying insert, either you can, any DML statement accepts single S object or array of S object. Now we know what is array. We did discuss about it. We put a lot of strings inside, and then we loop through it, and then we retrieve the data. So we know how to insert the data, like list dot, instead of string, if it is like S object, we can put we can insert the S object into the list. Okay, remember we were saying the string. Instead of string, if you put S object, or like account, when we say S object, it could be account object, it could be opportunity object, it could be lead object, or it could be case object, any object, something like this. List name, like this, account equal to new list, something like that. Okay, in this case, you can put this list will have only the account object. Previously, we manipulated with a string, like a primitive. Similarly, you can also put the S objects. Okay, all right. So you can you can use the DML statements with either a single object or the array of objects. Okay, so but when you're working on the real time examples or real-time projects, like operating on a list of S objects is more efficient way. For example, if there is a list, you can just manipulate all of them at one time. You don't have to put it in the loop and inserting. For example, you want to insert like 100,000 employee records. You just put it in the list and then you can insert it at one time. Instead of that, if you're looping through it, like every time you're going to hit the database and then insert the records. Do you understand the difference? So it is always recommended to have the list. It's more efficient way of doing or processing the records. Okay. All right. So insert is nothing but inserting a new record into the database or inserting a new record into the Salesforce systems. That's what we saw on the other day. Like when we are creating the account object and we used the insert. Like let me open up the window here. Login.salesforce.com. Remember, this is exactly what we did. Like, so we were having the insert, right? We are just doing with the argument here, or we were dealing with object.name, object.number of employees, and then we were creating the insert. Okay, insert means it's like inserting a new record. Now we know how to insert. We have already gone through that. Okay, all right. So one of the things that is we know, like insert, update, and delete. We'll also be going through the exercises. Okay, I will show you a demo of whatever. Insert means like, inserting a new record. Update means like updating the existing record. Delete means like deleting the existing record. If you have one record and you want to delete, you can delete it. Okay, we'll go through that exercises. One of the things that you could see is here upsert and undelete means like, you can undelete, like you deleted something and then you want to undelete that. You want to bring it back, you can use the undelete. These are all the DML statements. This will be one of the interview questions. Like what are all the DML? What are all the DML statements that you know? Like insert, update, delete, undelete. Okay. And one of the things is that we see additional to this, these are all self-explanatory. Inserting a record, delete, deleting existing record. If you delete something, you can bring it back, that's undelete, and then you can update the existing record. These are all clear. The new things, like, that's in the Salesforce is, it's not in the regular SQL world, is the upsert and merge. What is mean by upsert? What is mean by upsert? Okay. So the upsert DML operation, what does it mean by the upsert DML operation? It creates the new records and also it updates the same record in a single transaction, in a single statement. For example, if you just write insert, it just inserts. If you just update, you have to tell which object you are going to update, right? For example, if you use upsert, it inserts the data and it also updates the same data that you are inserting. Meaning that is going to be here. There will be some scenarios like, hey, okay, use the upsert. Meaning you just insert this and then make a change to the existing record what you inserted now. So it's a combination of insert and update. It's together. It's called the upsert statement. Okay, so you can use the specific field to determine what are the fields that needs to be updated. So it does both functions in a single command, correct? In a single statement or single transaction or in a single command. Yes, upsert. It's a combination of insert and update. That's what it's the upsert statement. Okay. So using a specified field, you can determine the presence of existing object, or even what the ID of the field is. As soon as you insert, the ID of the field, right? I mean, you don't have to use insert and update. Instead of that, you can use the upsert statement and then you can insert and then update the same record. Okay. If there are no field is available, or if you don't know any field of that object, you can use the ID and then you can update it. We will see some of the exercises. Okay, how the upsert works and everything. Okay. And what is the merge? We'll go through the exercises and that you'll know. Okay, that's an upsert. And then what is the merge? A merge statement is like, one of the important thing that you need to know is it can merge the same object type. For example, account, you can merge multiple accounts into one account. Okay, you can specify from which object you need to merge to the which object, but both the things needs to be in the same object type. You cannot merge object account into the object contact, or you cannot merge from case to the contact, or you cannot merge from account to the lead. It has to be the same object. You can only merge same object. Okay. And one of the interview questions, or like the certification question is, how many records that you can merge? You can merge up to 3 records at a time. You can merge up to 3 records of the same object in like one of the records. Okay, or you can delete the others. Like for example, when you're merging, what will happen? You can even merge 3 records to 1 record, and you can delete the other records, or you can even change the other records to be into the some other parent. For example, we have like, okay, I have the property, and I'm having offer. This is parent, and this is child. For example, I have 3 offers, and then and then I'm saying that oh, okay, I am the one who made all 3 offers. Okay, I'm the one who made all 3 offers. Can you merge? Okay, I can merge all 3 offers to one offer. The remaining 2 offers I can put it in another property if they are interested. Okay, so such things can be done. That's called the merge. Okay, and we did talk about like all these things can be manipulated with the field name, or if you don't know the field name, you can use the ID. Now you know what is the ID. ID is a data type, and every single object has the ID. We discussed this in the last class. Okay, all right. So and also like you can even have a question here. So it does both functions in a single command. So if we merge, we can see the date under one single object. Data, yes, we can see the data under one single object. That's correct. We can see the data that we want to merge, and then under the one single object. Okay, all right. let's see, like, okay, let's see. Okay, let's go through the exercises and see like how we can execute this DML statements. We'll go through some exercises and go through all of these statements, all of these DML statements, and then we'll go through some of the exercises. In that, from that you'll get to understand like how the DML statements are working. Okay, all right. So we know like how to insert the statement. Insert we have already discussed, and then we also did some exercises hands-on. Let's see like how we can do the list. We haven't seen the list of insert, right? Let's see how we can do the list of inserts. We discussed only the one single object, right? We discussed about only one single object. Let's see how we can do the list. Okay, let's take an example of account or contact or anything. Okay, I'm going to delete this. Okay, but just in case, I can even copy this and put it in the notes here. Now let's talk about the list. Okay, I said that this is one single object, and we can even talk about the list. Okay, how we can create the list of objects. So I'm going to, or else we can even in the developer console we can even open the, okay, either way is fine. Okay, I will just put it in the, I'll change the logic, and then I'll just write the logic inside this method. Okay, like we are having a create account or whatever. Okay, all right, or okay, that's fine. I'm going to close this, guys. All right, so let's take a different object. We have been talking about the account object. It's all the same concept. Let's take a different object, like a contact. Okay, like what I said. So we are going to have like list. This list is of going to have a type called contact, and then the list name. You say like, I can be C list or the contact list. Okay, equal to new list of contact. Contact is the standard object. Okay, so what we're doing is, remember previously what we did, new account, and then we put inside the parenthesis, or we put object name dot. Here it's a list itself. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm creating a new list. Okay, new list of contact. What we could do is, inside the list, we say, for example, one way of doing is create a new contact object. How do we create a new contact object? New contact, and the contact has like first name and last name. Okay, like for example, first name. And also, one of the important thing in Salesforce is typed language, meaning it doesn't really matter what case you write. It's case insensitive. You can put it in uppercase, you can write it in lowercase, everything is all the same. Okay, that's one more thing, important thing that you need to know of Salesforce Basic. It's a case insensitive. You can write whatever case that you want to write. Okay, so I'm putting like new contact, like first name equal to let's say first name equal to Srinath, and then comma, I put like last name equal to anything. You can put like last name equal to, I'm just putting the same name. Okay, last name equal to Srinath, and then there is a contact always has a department. Okay, I don't want to go there and show you the list of fields which you already know. Like you can go to the object manager, click on the object, you can see the list of fields and relationships. And there is one thing called department, I think. Department. Let's say department equal to something like HR. Okay, this is one object. I'm creating one contact object. If you want to create multiple contact object, one way of doing it, comma, okay, and you can create new. Exactly, I'm just going to copy paste here. I'm not going to spend time writing the same code. New contact, I'm going to say thing, and the department is from the department of network or infrastructure, IS department, something like that. Okay, so similarly you can create multiple users that we want. So far I created 3. I can create one more with my name. Let's see, saying like Karthik, and I'm saying like testing or QA department, whatever. What if department is a pick list type? It doesn't really matter. If it is a pick list of type, it's still going to be your string or integer or whatever, right? Okay, but you need to know the value, right? If it is going to be a pick list, that's only for the administrator, what he can pick when he's doing it manually. But when you're doing it programmatically, all you need to know is the string or the integer, whatever your pick list is going to contain, and the value of it. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if I don't know the coding, if you're doing with the UI, then I have to go and do the pick list. I have to go and select which department I'm going to select. But when you're doing it programmatically, all it has is, at the end of the day, for the backend developer or backend programmer, all you need to know is the value. Either it could be the string or it could be the integer or anything. Pick list is nothing but the data type which displays the multiple strings or the multiple integers or like multiple primitive type values. Okay, all you need to do is like one value what you need to have. Okay, so last one does not need a comma. I'm ending it here. Okay, and then I'm just going to complete this statement. So this is the statement, list statement. Okay, I'm opening it up, and then I'm creating, and then I'm closing this with a semicolon. This is the inserting the array. Inserting the array. What I'm doing is after this is the method, right? Correct. After this, what I'm doing is, all I'm writing is, how do we do? Insert object, right? That's what we did in the insert account previous lesson. Now insert, and then I'm putting C list. That's it. Then I'm saving it. Okay. So this is exactly like, I'm going to, all these things needs to be created in the contact object, contacts. This new needs to be created in the contacts. Okay, let's see how we can. Okay, do we have any problems? I'm trying to save it here. Okay, I don't see any problems here. So the code is clear, and I'm saving it. Okay, it's trying to get saved. In the meantime, let's go and debug with the anonymous window. What we will do is create object. Okay, and then object dot, and then I don't pass any argument at all. The signature is empty. So I'm just calling the method. That's all I'm doing. Okay. It's still saving. Okay. In case if you have a problem, you can always go here. You can minimize this, and you can go here, and you can say custom code. In the custom code, you can go to the Apex class, and then this is another way of doing it. Like, in case if you are having trouble with any of the editor, you can directly go here, and then you can put your code there. Okay, the one thing that you are writing it here is what is the name of that account, right? Create account object. Did you get any chat? Okay, no. Here is the create account object, right? I go here. See, this is where I saved. I emptied, I saved. Now it is still saving. You don't have to worry. This is another way of doing it. You can write the development. I can write your coding. Okay, I just go here. There. That's it. And then click save. See here, all my code is saved here. Okay, edit and save. This is another way of doing. Like, it doesn't mean that you have to rely all the way on developer console. You can even come here. So this is an administrator, setup admin, and then Apex, and you can see the custom code Apex classes. Okay. So these are the things that comes in the flow. Like, whenever we are going into the training, like there are like various things will be coming, and then you can just catch here and there whatever I'm saying with the tips. All right. So let's go here. Let's see if it gets saved. It is still saving. Okay, I don't care, but that got already saved. Okay, so I'm just creating. I'm calling this create account, and then let me see if I'm opening this. It's trying to execute. Okay, now let's go to our Salesforce sales app. See here, these are all the things that got created. Karthik, Jatin, Srinath. So these are the recent records that got created. When I click on the contact, there are no there are only one contact records, which is Karthik Kali. These are the things that got created now, right now. Like if you open Jatin, Jatin got created here. Okay. You can see here last modified by or created by this user on this date, today 4/4 at 4:46 p.m. and this organization is in the Pacific time, so that's why it's still 4:56. Okay, so any question on these exercises that in the exercises that we did? I'll show the code one more time. It's fairly straightforward. We need to how to deal with the list. So if you see it here, so if you see it here, you can just, all you need to do is to construct a S object, and then I'm creating a new contact, and then I'm inserting it. That's all I'm doing. Okay, see, this is, you can be even smarter when you're writing the code. This is original way of doing what I did for the account. After that, what I did, you can combine, like, for example, list, right? List.add, you can put the contact object. If you have multiple objects, you can even have like list.add. Like, for example, this is the C list, right? C list.add. You can add one object. You can keep on adding the object. And then finally, you can insert the C list. That's another way of doing it. The only thing is that you need to dump or you need to pump the value to the list. How are you doing? Either you can create a new contact, something like that, or you can create like add and then keep on adding it. I gave you the examples, or I showed you the example in both ways. In the string, now we are manipulating with S object. Previously in the string, I said like, hey, okay, the string 1, string 2, string 3, that one way of doing it. The other way of doing it is like list.add, you can put string, list.add, you can put another string. Okay, so hereafter you'll have to catch up. Yes, I will show you. I'll show you all the, I'll show you like, update, merge, everything here. Yes, we're going to see all the DML statements. Okay, we're going to see all the DML statements like one after another. Okay, all right. So, all right. Say for example, you want to say like, the next thing is like, update. How can we do the update? Okay, the next, okay, we have gone through the list now. Okay, what are the things that we have in line? Okay, we have gone through the list. Insert is done with a single record. Insert is done with the list. Now you know like how you can update the list and then insert it. Any question on the insert before I go to the update? I just want to complete all of these statements today so that we are done with the DML and we can make sure that they're all clear. Okay, cool. All right, let's take a look at the update now. How does the update work? Update works. Okay, so I have the list here. Okay, and then, so okay, I'm going to get like, how can we update? Say for example, I did a mistake for Srinath. Srinath doesn't belong to a department HR. He belongs to the department IS. Okay, I'm seeing that. Okay, imagine we are just manipulating with only 3 records. It could be millions of records. That's the real time. Okay, I'm saying, okay, wherever we have the department HR, you need to update to IS. Or you can have one condition, right? If the first name is Srinath, or if the last name, or even the employee ID, or there is a requirement that comes in. Oh, okay, guys, you guys made a mistake. All the people that are in the QA needs to be moved to the IS, and we did update it wrongly. We need to update these records, okay, in the bulk, okay, whatever they are saying. All right, let's go through with these exercises. How do we do that? We insert it, right? And then, okay, I'm getting another list. Okay, what I'm doing, I'm creating like another list, the same. Contact. I'm getting like, C list to update, something like that. C list, this is the list to update. We had a list to insert, we already did it. And this is the list to update. Okay, we know how to declare the list. And then I'm just writing it as an empty. If you see it here, there is a difference between these things that I wrote, and then there's a difference between this one. When I wrote a list, I'm pumping the data within the list itself, new list itself. It's an array. Okay. Whereas I just declared only the list. Okay, all right. And then now the next thing is like loop through the contact and find HR. Whoever is HR needs to be updated to IS. Okay, how do we loop? We know, okay, for example, we can use the for loop. We have already seen this for loop. We have seen the for loop with a just primitive type. Like, remember, I used like integer I equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, and then I got from the counter, right? Here we can't do that. Here it's not like first object or second object or third object. I want the person who belongs to the department HR needs to be updated. I cannot use like this Srinath might be in the third, the Srinath might be in the second. Okay, we never know where we are going to get updated when we are querying and when we are getting the data. Okay, Srinath, we will go through one after another, and then when you understand, we still go through this merge. Okay, I'm going one by one. Okay, so you get to understand the concept completely. All right, but we're still going to use the same program, same concept and everything, okay, to make things simple. All right, so now what I'm doing is, okay, now you know the list, you have the list already. Where do we have the list? Okay, so we have the list. This is the list, right? This is the list. This is the list that we inserted. Okay, like for example, this is the list that we inserted. And then for example, what type of data is this? Is the S object of contact, right? We are looping through contact object. Contact, like for example, con obj, con object, colon. We are getting it from the list. What list we are getting? We are getting from this list that we inserted. We are getting it from this list that we inserted. And then the for loop will always have a statement. Okay, and then here, okay, see here, this list has 3 records. Okay, this list has 3 records. Okay, like for example, I'm having like first name as record 1, record 2, record 3. Okay, so I'm having like, we are having record 1, record 2, record 3. I'm inserting the 3 records, and then I'm going to update the same record, whatever the existing records. So I'm looping through it, and then I'm looping through this list. This list has all these 3 records of type. Previously, we used to have integer I equal to 1, 0, 1, 2, 3 to go, right? Now we cannot do that. We are doing through the list. And then what type of list this is? This is having only the contact list. So the data type is contact list, and then we are storing it in a variable contact object. So when it goes through the loop, okay, whatever the list has, if it list has 1,000 times, it will go through the for loop, and every time when it goes to the loop, this will have the fresh record. First time it will have Srinath or record 1. Second time it will have record 2 Jatin. Third time when it comes, it will go have the record 3. So whatever the size is this, and it will go up to here. Okay, that is why we are having, this is the data type. This is the current object where the object will be saved into or put it into temporarily. And then this is the list. We are looping through the list. This is the loop. Previously we used to have I equal to 0, I less than 10, I plus plus. Increment the I. Okay, here we get the list, get all the object from the list one by one into the for loop. When you're having the for loop, it will come, first object will have 1 record, the next object will have 2nd record, the next object will have 3rd record. It will go up to the list, whatever the size of the list, it will go. Okay, and then I'm saying, like for example, and then we are saying like, okay, so if in the first object or 2nd object or 3rd object, I'm checking, we know now object dot field name, right? We saw it in the last class. When we inserted, we know each object can be retrieved from the fields. I'm saying like object dot department. If object dot department equal to, when there is a condition, when it is single equal to, it is assignment operator. When it is double equal to, it is called the conditional check operator. If condition, we are checking if department equal to HR. Okay, so you need to understand the operator. When we are saying the operators, if it is a single equal to, it is like A equal to B. So B will be saved to A. If A equal to B, then we have to use if A equal to B. It is a question mark. If A equal to B, do this or else do that, something like that. Okay, it's an if else condition. Okay, so as I said, we did not spend much time on learning the very basic programming of if condition, for condition, to conditions separately. It's waste of time. Okay, because we need to learn all those operators or all those conditions, if conditions, for conditions, looping and everything as we learn the concept of Salesforce. Okay, that is why when we are writing the code, like now we know how to loop it. Now we know how to loop the object, and now we know how to loop the string with the primitive values. Now we know how to save the records in the object. Now we know how to save the primitive value like string in the list. Okay, how can this is just dumping the data to the list, iterating, or like looping through it and then iterating it from the list. That's all it is. If department equal to HR, right? And then I'm updating. Okay, I'm updating that object. You can update like con object dot. You don't have to replace the department. And let's say like, we updated only 3 records. We want to update something else, some other field. Okay, let's take it that way. We don't want to replace HR to IS. Again, in that case, object dot department will be IS, and then we can update it here. That way we can do it so that, the record, whoever has HR will be updated here. Here, what we are saying is, let's take a real-time scenario. Hey, whoever belongs to the department of HR, we need to add one more field in the object and we need to update that field. Okay, let's say, let's go and see. The scenario is, okay, contact, right? What are the objects we have? What are the fields we have? Level or email or mobile. Let's take any data, anything that we have. Okay. Okay, this is the contact, right? Let's go to the setup, object manager, contact, fields and relationships. What do we have here? Okay, we even have a title here. Okay, so see here, the title is, name is the title, and it says text. Okay. Are we displaying a title in this layout? Or we have a title in this layout? We don't have a title, right? Or we are having? No. Okay, we don't have a title here, right? I mean, you know how to add it, right? You can go to the page layout and then you can add the title here to display. That's part of admin. Yeah, so yeah, I have gone through the Srinath recently, this exercise. Okay, let's see, like, we can update the lead source, something like that. Okay, let's go and see what is the other object we have it. Our goal is to update some other field. Okay, let's see. We go to the setup. What are the other fields we have? Object manager, contact, fields and relationships. Okay, so we can even We can even update the email, or we can even update languages, whatever we have. The department, we already have it. We already updated that. Okay. So let's say we can even update the mobile number or anything. Okay. Or the lead source is the pick list, right? Okay. Lead source. Okay. The lead source is web, other or anything. Lead source is web. Okay. Whatever it is. Let's write a code to whatever we have it here, to the account, sorry, contact, and we update the, do we have the lead source? Okay, we have the lead source here. Okay, and what is that field name? What is the field name for the lead source? Here it is. Okay. This is the assigning the value. We're assigning to web as an example. Okay. And then what we're doing is, see, whoever is having the HR, there may be multiple people who are having HR. For example, record 1, record 2, right? Even record 3, Karthik might even be having a HR. Okay. So the concept is, I'm going to execute this code. All 3 new records will be created. And in the same list, I'm iterating. And then I'm creating another list that needs to be updated. Okay. I'm looping through the list that I created. If that has a HR, then I'm updating the object, and then I have to add it into the list inside the loop. I cannot put it outside. Okay. If we put it outside, every object will get added. Only if this condition gets satisfied, only if department is HR, I update the object, then I am adding to the list, this list that needs to be updated. Dot what we should do, we have already seen that, dot add. The reason why I'm putting this exercise is, this is one way of constructing the list. This is another way of constructing the list. Here I gave the statement of list with everything constructing together with the value. Here I'm just creating the list, and then I'm adding the list dot add, and then I'm putting the object inside. We got a question here. Hold on. Yeah, so we are I mean, I don't want to remove this code. Okay, if I remove this code, I have to loop through the existing records, and I can do it. I'm just going to keep this code so that it inserts 3 new records, and then it updates the same records. Okay, does it make sense? Hello? Okay. Srinath, do you still have question? Okay. Srinath, is it clear? You put question mark. Srinath, were you able to follow me? Okay. Okay, good. Yeah, so we can update the code after the first one is executed. Yes, because you can only update when the record is available. You cannot go and update that is something not exist. You can only go and update when it exists. Okay. So that is why, I mean, it's not that when you're updating, it should be always created. You can even write a query. The next concept we'll be talking about in the next class is how to write the query. You can even query, hey, select or give me the record from this account where department equal to HR. That is going to give you the list, and then you can update it. That is very easy. You don't have to insert and do the update. Since we are learning, I don't want to jump here and there and go advanced right now. I want you to go from the basic level to make sure that you understand the concept. Okay, the record needs to exist to update. Okay, so first step is we are creating and then we are updating the same list with some other value. Then you can connect the dots. Now you should be able to connect the dots about class, objects, list, how to add the list. Couple of ways to add the list is to construct this way with the constructor, and the other way is to add like dot add. You can pump the data, and now you know how to iterate the list. Now you know the statement to how to insert the list, insert a single record, insert the list. Okay, so I'm constructing another list. So when Karthik, when first Srinath comes, he will get into this condition. When Jatin comes, Jatin will not get into this condition because his department is not HR. Remember, we are constructing another list and then we are adding the data only if this condition is satisfied. Again, when Karthik comes, Karthik data will be added because Karthik's department is HR. We are having a condition if department is HR, then only we are adding the lead source. Otherwise, we are not adding it at all. Okay, so these are the things that is existing, right? These are the records that is already existing, and then we are modifying the new data. And then outside the for loop, this is where the for loop ends, right? Outside the for loops, this goes and then this constructs the list, and then it checks all this from the list. Whatever this list, it iterates, and then it checks all this, and then it puts, and then it generates new list. What we need to do, we need to update. How do we do update? Instead of insert, all you need to do is to just update this list. That's it. Here we have one list that we constructed. We are inserting that list, and then we are iterating the same list, and then whoever is having the HR, we are updating the lead source to the value web, and then we are creating another list. We are creating another list, and then we are adding the another list, adding the data to the another list. Here it will be only 2 objects will go inside, not all 3, because only 2 object has HR. And then we are having the list to update, and once the loop is over, outside the loop we are updating. Inside the loop you cannot update because every time it will get updated. Outside the loop we are updating the list. We first construct the list and then update. Any question so far on the insert a single statement, inserting a list, updating a list, looping through it? See, now the program is growing. We used to write like 2 lines of code. Now we are writing like 20 lines of code, 25 lines of code. Clear? Okay, cool. All right, so I'm saving this. Sometimes this is keep on saving. I have no control on this. I think it may be internet, but in that case, if it's internet, I should also have an issue while you're saving in the Salesforce console, not the developer console. I think developer console is somewhere outside, and then it takes some time to save. Okay, let me go back to that. Let me go back here to the home. Custom code. These are all related to the custom code. Okay, Apex classes. Okay, and then I'm going here. And it got executed. Okay, so now let's go to the sales app. See, these are all created: record 1, record 2, record 3. Okay. See here, the lead source is generated as web. I purposely chose the lead source just because the pick list. You asked a question, right? If there is a pick list, how do we do that? That's why I chose the lead source. I was looking for something else, but even the title will not have the pick list. And then I realized that you asked a question about how do we save the data with the pick list, right? That's why I choose this is a pick list actually. If I chose phone number or email or mobile, it will be just a plain value. I was looking for the pick list, and then I chose the lead source. Is it clear now? Now, if you go to the Jatin guy will not get updated because he doesn't belong to the HR. See here, lead source, it's empty still. So these are the very little things. These are very basic things, like how to create, how to update, because this is what the end of the day you will be doing. Say, for example, when we are doing the migration, you need to write a script. You put your logic in the Apex class controller, and then you are updating the record. Think about the same thing that you're doing it for like 100,000 records or 50,000 records, and you are having your own logic. And somebody wrote a logic, and then you are calling that another class, and then you are writing it. That's how all the development will happen. Okay. That is why the real time the development will happen. You need to understand the basic of what is class, method, what is object, what is fields, and this is the basic. Once you know that, you'll be able to talk like, oh, okay, so I can update the record, you can update this record, how can we update the record, and what are the fields, what are the relationships, how do we do that, and all these things will be a piece of cake once you understand the concept thoroughly. Okay, this is the DML statement. Okay. Any questions so far? There is a question, where these DML statements are used, like Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, or Community Cloud. It could be anything. It is used in all clouds. Think about it. It's all about the object, right? What are the cloud tools or cloud services that the object is involved? It is involved in every cloud. If you look at the sales, it is going to be like opportunity, contact, or account. If it is a service, it is going to be a case, lead. Your object is going to differ, but the concept is same. You need to, like, for example, you need to create a new sales record. You need to create a new account. You need to create a new contact for that account. Whereas for the Service Cloud, they are raising a support request, service request in the Service Cloud. That's a case. SR, so they request a service, case. It has to go to the whoever is the sales representative, or it should be getting to the queue. Queue is an object. Case is an object, right? It could be even you are generating an automatic email template. Email template is an object. So that is why I was saying that everything in the Salesforce is object. If you go here, sorry, setup, and then if you go here to the object manager, you see here order, product order, price book, property, scorecard, whatever, task, user, vehicle. These are custom objects or the standard objects. In every cloud, you'll be creating your own custom object, right? In every single cloud service, it could be marketing cloud, health cloud, commerce cloud, sales cloud, service cloud, any cloud, it doesn't really matter. You'll be creating that is why for the developers, they don't specifically ask what is that cloud, what this cloud will do, what that cloud will do. Those will go more towards the business analyst, the domain experts. But for the developer, it's all the object. It's all the object to insert. It's all the object to custom object or standard object. They will ask a question, what is standard object and what is custom object? And how do you? They will not ask that question to the business analyst. business analyst, they will ask like, if it is a sales, what is the sales process? How do you define the sales process? What are the tools in the Salesforce that you can use for the sales process? Something like that. It's more of administrator related thing. Does it make sense? Perfect. All right. So, say for example, we'll talk about the upsert now. Is everything is clear? Insert. I mean, even if I don't want to dump you guys everything at one day, we are done with the insert. We're done with the update. Now, insert and update together, it's called upsert, right? We'll be talking about the upsert now. Okay, I don't want to just explain things and then moving. I literally want to write a code and explain you so that you understand the flow, because you guys are not from the programmatic world. You understand the flow and you understand each and every line that I write here. That's the whole idea of the training. I don't want to just copy paste somewhere else from the code and then execute and show the output. I mean, that's not going to be useful for either you or me. When I write this piece of code, what is class, what is object, what is he doing, creating the list, inserting. I might be making a mistake. That's fine. Let the problem. We have done a lot of mistakes and then we are correcting it. Okay, that's how you can learn. So that's how I'm giving the direction to you guys. Okay. Any questions? All right. Okay. Now, so I'll be talking about upsert, and then tomorrow we'll go through the exercises about even we will take like 2 classes to complete this DMO. Okay. We have to go through all the exercises in the programmatic code and the flow and everything. So only then you'll be able to understand. I'm just going to copy paste this code so that I can even share the notes with you guys in later. Okay. All right. Now the next is upsert. We all know that it's all about how we can how the insert and the update can work in one statement. That's what the upsert is all about, right? We know how to insert. Now we know how to update the existing records. How does the upsert works? Okay, like that's the statement about the update. So for example, if you have a list, if you have a list that's containing the mix of new and existing records, there are some records we are going to create new, and there are some existing records you can process the insertion and also we can if there are new records that will get inserted, and also update all the records by using the upsert statement. Okay, what I'm trying to tell you is, when you're talking about the upsert, so there are 5 records that you are creating newly. Okay, there are 5 records already exist. You can update all 10 using upsert. When you do this, you don't have to create a new insert statement, because upsert will also create this new statement, and then it will update the existing 5, also this new 5 when you're using 10. Does it make sense now? So say for example, when you are doing the upsert, the reason for the upsert is mainly where can you use the upsert. There will be an interview question. So the upsert helps to avoid the creation of duplicate records. Upsert doesn't allow to create a duplicate records, and you can save. I mean, we can save a lot of time that we don't have to determine which record already exists. You can, okay. Say for example, this file you are creating new, out of which, and you already have two records in this file that already exist. Those two will not be created. It will just update only these two records if it finds here. Does it make sense? Upsert will avoid the duplication of creating the records. That is why we are using upsert. We don't want to, if you insert 5, again, like, you'll get the duplicates of this 2 that is available here, and then the 2 will be duplicated here. So if you use upsert, if it identifies that, oh, okay, I can identify this field, then I'm going to update because I'm already finding it. If I don't find it, I'm creating it. That is the whole idea behind the upsert. Oh, sorry, guys. I clicked accidentally the stop share. Are you able to see my screen now? So there is a question, when there is a situation of inserting and updating at the same time, and also not creating the copies of the existing record. Exactly. That's exactly I said, correct. When we don't want to create a duplicate, when you said the copies, I said the word duplicate. Yes, when you don't want to create the duplicates, you can use the upsert. These are all the day-to-day activities that the programmer will be doing, the DML statements, because that's how, right, data is coming in, processing the data, updating the data, deleting the data, anything like that. Okay. All right. So whenever, like, upsert statement matches the S object or any object of the existing record, it will compare the field that we specify, and then either it will update or it will create. Okay, that's like, for example, whatever the statement that we have gone through. I have another question here. Give me one second. Yeah, mainly the day-to-day tasks rely on this. Yes, because it's a DML operations, right? We are working with a database. Now you know how to create the objects, how to update the object, because everything in the Salesforce is the object, right? And you'll be working on some customization as well that we will go through. Okay. So the main thing is the data modeling and the database concepts of DML. The next thing, how to write the query, how to write the search query, how to bring the query and everything. Because here I created and then I updated. You can write one query to identify where it belongs to, where it belongs to HR, and then you can write it. Okay. All right. So let's say as an example, okay, so I'm just going to delete this, guys. Okay, so I can just simply take this out, take this out, take this out. I'm just marking it as upsert so that I'm creating the upsert record. Upsert record 1. Okay. New contact. So I can just write this code, contact conobj equal to new contact. This is how we created, right, initially. And then what I'm doing is I'm trying to insert this object. What it does, what this code does. Just creates a contact object and then insert the contact object. It's inserting. Okay, let me say, for example, like, okay, I'm updating now. I want to update this. After insert, I know that, okay, this object. What are the other fields we have it here? We're dealing with the contact object, right? Yeah. Okay, simply let's take description. Are we displaying the description here? okay, we have the description here, right? Yeah, okay, we have the description here. So now the goal here is, what I'm doing is I'm just writing the description. After inserting, I'm updating the description. Description is updating the sample description. Updating the sample description. Okay, and then what I'm doing is, say for example, I'm creating another record. I'm creating another record. Like for example, con object. Okay, I can put like upsert object so that it makes sense for you guys. Upsert object 1, and I can put like upsert object 2. This is the record 2. Okay, this is upsert 1, this is upsert 2. This is another first object I created using the insert. The next object, I'm just inserting it. The next one is I'm trying to create another one, and then what I'm doing is I'm creating a list. Okay, I'm creating this list as an example. Let's take this. I'm creating a list. And then what we do, we create like this, right? And then now what I'm saying is, I'm saying like upsert object, sorry, 1, and I'm putting like this is the second object. Okay, I'm calling one. I'm just creating one object, and I'm creating that object. Okay, this object name, sorry, this object name needs to be replaced. This object name needs to be replaced. Okay, and then I'm creating another object. I'm not doing anything with another object. I'm not doing anything with that another object. Okay, and then what I'm doing is I'm creating a list of those both the objects. Okay, and then what I'm doing is I'm saying I'm calling the upsert. I'm upserting this list. We know how to deal with the list with the insert update. Similarly, I'm calling the upsert. You can even create one object, or you can even deal with several objects. Okay, see here, if I just, instead of insert here, if I put upsert, if this exists, this will not create a new. Okay, if this exists, this will not create new. What I'm doing now, this is object I created. I'm trying to insert. It will see if this record is available. Okay, the record is not available, then it will insert. Then I'm adding the description. Okay, I'm adding the description to the inserted object, and then I'm creating another object. I'm not inserting this second object at all. I'm directly calling the upsert. Okay, which means what I'm trying to tell you is the output is going to be, this will be created, and I'm just updating the statement. Okay, I'm just adding the description. I'm updating the description. The next one, I'm also creating another object. I'm not using the insert object to create this. I'm using upsert, so it will insert. I'm also using this one as part of the upsert, so this will get updated. Okay, so this one single statement, if you see, okay, Let me give you a break here so you understand. If you see here, I'm calling the upsert of the list. Okay, 1, 2. This one will already exist because I'm inserting it here. This one does not exist, that I'm creating it here because I did not call the insert. So this one will get created. This one will not get created, meaning it's already available. So this one will get just updated. Description will get updated to it. I am creating only with 3 fields: first name, last name, department. First time, I'm just updating the field here. I did not use the update command here. I'm using upsert. So this upsert is going to act for insert of this object. This upsert is going to act as update for this object, because update, which means it already exists. This insert, which means it doesn't exist. Does it make sense now? Is it clear? Any questions? Perfect. You guys are sharp. Okay, or like, I'm just putting it in a very cleaner way. To me, like, it always, I believe in that. If somebody doesn't explain to me in a simpler way, which means that they don't understand enough. That's what I believe in. If I am able to explain it, or like if somebody is going to explain me in clear manner, which means that they understood everything. That's how I believe in. Like, so I make it very simple, and then I'm explaining on the flow with the various combinations so that you get it. That's why I put a break here. Now, this is going to get inserted, and technically it gets inserted and the description is updated only after that. But I did not run the update command here. If I run the update command, I'll be cheating. Meaning, why do we need the upsert then if I already updated this description, right? I did not use that. And if I use the insert statement here, I'll be cheating the upsert, because you are creating the object. And why are you just using the insert here if you want to do the upsert? That's why I use the upsert. And I'm putting 2 objects. This object will be inserted previously, but the upsert will update it. This one will not get updated. Will not get updated. Instead, it will get inserted because this doesn't exist. Make sense? Okay. Yep. That's why I just created this way to make it clear. Okay, so now I'm going to update this code. This one is not working for some reason. I think I have to log out and log in back and all that. Let's not waste time. I go here. I'm going to execute now. Okay, I'm just creating. All this code can be written here. Okay, I just want to give you a feel that I'm just creating the same method. I'm not updating anything here. I'm writing it in the method itself. Okay, it says, now what is a class object. It doesn't make sense if you write it here. It's going to be test code. If you write it here, it's going to be like more meaningful. We're calling the object.method name. This is the method name. I already have that class. Okay, let's go and see. The Salesforce is very cool. We are not creating any database connection, and we are not anything committing or anything. It's always connected to the database. So it's very easy. We go here, contact, right? See here, upsert 1 and upsert 2. This upsert 1 guy, we go to the detail. The description got updated, updating the sample description. This upsert did not create 2 times. Remember, this does exist. Upsert 1 is already existing. Okay. Whereas upsert record 2 will not have the description. We just created, and it does not have any description at all. Does it make sense? I have some comments here. Makes it looks easy. Yes. Okay, perfect. Now we covered insert, update, upsert. Okay, I want you guys to just go through these exercises, whatever we have gone through, and we'll be winding up the delete and merge thing in next class, and we'll be winding up the DML. That's all we have. We have nothing more than that in the DML, and then we have to proceed towards how to write the query and all that. Okay. So in the from next class onwards, like from this class onwards, and like we'll be moving towards the bigger concepts and more towards. Okay. No more basics. I already taught you enough. What is basics? Okay. Now, as we progress, you'll get to know, like, what is the operator, what is the loop, different loop structures, how to assign the object, how to manipulate the list, and all those things. Okay. Any questions? How are you guys liking the class? Perfect. Cool. All right. So I want you guys to do some hands-on and just make sure that so that you don't forget. Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. I'll be sharing the recordings and then I will text you about the next class. Okay. Cool. Thanks. Bye.